Hi, everybody. I know that we've done convention recap part 1, convention recap part 2, but I wanted to take a little bit of time to talk about the keynote speakers that we had for convention. We kind of covered just a general, this is what happens at convention, this is what was launched, that kind of thing. But I want to talk to you about kind of the meat and potatoes of what we heard from our keynote speakers at convention. So I'm going to go ahead and get started because I have a lot to talk about. So Victor Antonio was the MC for convention. Victor Antonio, a little backstory on him. He grew up on welfare, food stamp kid in Chicago. He did not have a very wealthy upbringing at all, but he had some teachers in his younger years that encouraged him to pursue what he wanted. And he ended up graduating high school, went on to get a bachelor's degree in electrical engineering and a master's in business administration. He also became the CEO of a $420 million company. And now he is a motivational speaker, and he also, hang on. He is also the host of a show on Spike TV called Life or Debt, and he helps families that are on the verge of bankruptcy. He kind of helps them come out of that, manage their money a little bit better and that kind of thing. So he's a really cool guy, very engaging, very entertaining, and he has some really great business. He's very business minded, so he has some really great tips in that sense. So opening day, the beginning of the very first session, Victor talked a little bit about your attitude. And he said, there are haters for everything. You could be the juiciest peach in the world, and there's still going to be somebody that hates peaches. So there are haters for everything. There are negative Nancys everywhere. People that can turn unicorns and rainbows into snakes and tornadoes. There just are some really negative people out there. So what he had us do is he had us hold up our hand, and he had us pretend that there was a big black circle right here on our hand. And anytime we come across one of those negative Nancys that just has nothing good to say about anything, he said, you just smile. And then as soon as you're done talking to them, you hit delete. That's the delete button. So in other words, don't dwell on the negative people. There's always going to be negative people for everything. So don't dwell on that negativity. Just delete. So I really thought that was fun. So you may have seen that little graphic going around Facebook of the hand that has the black circle and the delete button. That's where that comes from. Victor didn't actually do a lot of speaking since he was the MC. He just kind of kept things flowing. So that's kind of the meat and potatoes of him. That was kind of his thing. He's also the one that challenged us to get the 9 tips, three tips from 3 people for 3 days. So the 9 tips, and if you participate in the flash challenge, that's basically, I had you kind of do that same thing. So that was kind of what we got from him. The next person that was on the stage, they did a little diamond panel with 5 diamonds. Let me try to remember everybody. Chris McCall, Brenda Martin, Helen McFadden, Sheila Medina. Oh, there were supposed to be 5. Tamara Holloway was supposed to be the other one, but she didn't get to go to convention because she was super pregnant. Like, she just had her baby yesterday, so she didn't end up making it. But one thing that stood out to me, Brenda Martin, if you don't know her, she is a Diamond Ambassador. She has 11 kids, and she homeschools them. So not only is she running a home, she's basically running a school and trying to manage 11 children plus her husband. So she has a lot going on. But one thing that she said that really stood out to me, and I've told a few of you this, is that it's okay to be discouraged for 2 minutes. And then you got to get up and you got to get busy, because activity is the key to what ails your business. Activity cures the slow times. So I really, really like that, because it's really easy to sit and dwell in your discouragement. And Speaking from experience, I did it for 10 months and my business really tanked during that time. So it's okay to be discouraged, but only for 2 minutes. Then you got to get up and you got to get busy because you have a team to lead and they're counting on you. So those are kind of a few nuggets of just some random things that I really wanted to share with you. The first, it was day 2 of convention, but she's our first keynote speaker, was Rita Davenport. Now, I had the opportunity to listen to Rita at Leaders Retreat in October. I loved her then. I was super excited to listen to her. And a little bit about Rita. She also grew up in a very poor home. Poverty, welfare, they didn't even have running water. They had to use an outhouse. So she did not have a glamorous upbringing. Her high school counselor told her that she wasn't cut out for college, but the boy she was dating at the time encouraged her to go ahead and try to go to college. He was from a wealthier family, and obviously college was in the cards for him. So he encouraged her to figure out a way to get to college, and she did. She actually worked 2, sometimes 3 jobs to pay her way through college. She became a social worker. And during her time as a social worker, she, some of the families that she helped and worked with, she just learned to be very grateful. It allowed her to, be grateful for where she was, but also to know that no matter what disappointment or heartache, there's always a gift in that. So trying to find the good in every situation is part of her background. Let's see. She is an author of a book called Funny Side Up. She also was a talk show host, and she also became the CEO of Arbonne. It's been many years ago, but she took it from $1 million company to $1 billion company in the time that she was the CEO of that company. So very cool. She's very, very smart lady. And I want you to pull out a pen, because if you don't write anything else down from this little recap, I want you to write this down. It costs nothing to dream, but it costs everything if you don't. That was one of the very first things Rita said in her speech, and it really hit home. It costs nothing for you to dream, but it will cost you everything if you don't. So too many people don't dream because someone, and it may be yourself, it may have been your parents when you were younger, told you that it wasn't possible. And my question is, why not? Why not you? Why can't you do it? Why can't you be successful? Why can't this happen for you? So ditch the negativity, allow yourself to dream, and then go after those dreams. Find a way to make them happen. There are hundreds of people that have done it already. So I know that each one of us can do it too. Another thing that she said was, if you don't ask, you'll never have anything. And there's actually a Bible verse, James 4:2. You do not have because you do not ask. And I think that's probably where that stemmed from, but ask, get your ask in gear. That was how she said it, because she's a hoot. She's really funny. Get your ask in gear. Ask God for the blessings that you want. Ask potential customers to try the products. Ask prospects to join your team. Ask your upline for help if you need it. Ask, get your ask in gear. I have some of these other little notes around on my notepad that I don't want to forget to say. She also said, this is again on dwelling on your disappointments or dwelling on your discouragement. Disappointment and failure are just the feedback that gives you the opportunity to change. So that's your feedback. If you're disappointed about something, then that tells you that you need to change something. Don't quit, just change the way you're doing something. Life is a choice. You are where you are because of your choices, good or bad. Your attitude is also a choice. You get to choose every day whether to be joyful or negative. Life is so much sweeter when you choose joy. You get out of life what you put into it. Relationships take work, joy takes work, success takes work. What are you willing to do to get the things you want out of life? This is just a little side note. She tells this story. She's told it both times I've heard her talk. But she, because she has found herself to be so successful, she stays in some very fancy hotel rooms. But she said, always tip the housekeepers. Always tip the housekeepers, because there was only one choice, one decision in your life that kept you from being that housekeeper. So always give them a good tip. And she said one time she was staying in a hotel in New York City right before Christmas, and before she left a very generous tip for the housekeeper. And as they were leaving, they were walking out with her bags, and this housekeeper comes running up and said, Miss Davenport, did you left this? Did you mean to? And she said, yeah, that's for you. And the housekeeper just started crying, because the amount that the tip was going to be enough for her to buy Christmas for all of her kids. So it was a major life-changing thing. So just, if you're blessed, be a blessing. And she, Alec Clark, our president, he says that very frequently. If you are blessed, be a blessing to someone else. And Rita knows that. She knows that that's one of the things he says all the time. And so she just kind of expounded on that. Especially with her story. If you are blessed and you're living a blessed life, then find somebody less fortunate than you and be a blessing to them. This is another thing that I thought was really fun. And it's an attitude. It's another attitude thing. And it says, you don't have to do Plexus. We do not have to do Plexus. We get to do Plexus. And those that aren't doing Plexus are completely missing out. And if you've been with this company for any amount of time, I think you know that that is very true. As a leader, you must remember people will work harder for praises than they will for raises. Be open, shout it from the rooftops when somebody does something good on your team. People appreciate the praise, and they will work harder for that than they will for $1. Care about your team and your customers. Love on your team and your customers. Build those relationships, because they're important. People need to know you care about them and not just about what they're doing. Goal setting. Your goals have to be right for you. If you're setting a goal that's not right for you and doesn't fit your life, then it's not going to be attainable. You have to set goals that are right for you, and you must have affirmations to yourself, and you have to repeat them every day. It's a mindset thing, an attitude thing, and you have to do that in order to keep yourself on track and out of that discouragement. She gave us a list of books that she really loves, and I wrote those down, so I wanted to share those with you. Obviously, her book, Funny Side Up, I will be reading that one soon. The Power of Positive Thinking. That one's by Norman Vincent Pearl. And The Strangest Secret by Earl Nightingale. I haven't read any of those, but they're on my list for sure. And one thing that she's funny. She can make you laugh at the drop of a hat. One thing that she said is, if somebody's asking you how business is, just say unbelievable. That means it could be unbelievably good or unbelievably bad. How's business? It's unbelievable. So that's kind of the things that I wrote down from Rita Davenport and what she talked about. So I'll post a link. So, there's several iPhone videos of her speech at convention. So I'll post that in the comments under this video. And then on the last day, it was actually the very last part of the very last session, we got to hear John Addison. And John Addison, again, grew up in Georgia, not super wealthy, finished high school, went to college, became the co-CEO of Primerica, which is funny because we have life insurance through Primerica. So I kind of thought that was cool that I was listening to the guy that made that company successful. But built a multi-million-dollar business as the co-CEO. Now he does motivational speeches. He has a book. The book is called Real Leadership by John Addison. Definitely a good read if you're looking for a book to read, and that's also on my list. Oh, hang on, guys. I got to plug my computer in. It's hollering at me. Okay, that's much better. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about John Addison. I felt kind of like the running trend with all of the speakers that we heard was that you have to have a good attitude. Your attitude determines everything. So you'll kind of hear some things along that line from what I'm going to tell you about John Addison. But he said people spend way too much time on things that they have zero control over. You can't control your spouse. You can't control your kids most of the time. But what you can control is your attitude and your activity. So ask yourself, how do I think? What do I do? Set your daily goals and then do them. Don't be a ping pong ball. Don't set goals and then the day gets started and then you're a ping pong ball all over the place. And guess what? At bedtime, your to-dos for that day have not been done. Set your to-do list, get it done. Everybody has the same 24 hours in a day. And if there are people getting this done and making this successful, then you can do it too. What am I going to get done today? What can I control and what can I make happen? Those were three things that he asked along the lines of your activity. What am I going to get done today? What can I control and what am I going to make happen? What makes this business hard? Well, people start having success and then they forget what made them successful. Activity. They start, ranking up, hitting gold, senior gold, ruby, and they think, oh, well, my team's got this. I don't need to do anything anymore. And that's not true. You have to keep finding recruits. You keep seeking out level 1 ambassadors, new ambassadors to add to your team, because when your downline sees you doing that, they're going to follow your lead. So you keep working just like you were working before you got to the point where you're at now. Winning is hard. Sometimes you win the battle. Sometimes the battle wins you. But in that case, you just got to get up and keep going. That when he was the co-CEO of Primerica, that was right in the middle of a really hard time in the economy in the United States. And you know what? His company still grew during that recession. So if anybody knows what it feels like to get up and keep going, John Addison is one of them. He said you have to develop a peaceful core. You have to have solidarity. You have to have a peaceful core. A peaceful mind generates power. Don't be a basket case, especially with your team. If you're a leader of a team, which most of you are, if you are a leader of a team, don't be a basket case. Your organization cannot run based on your mood. Don't let your personal stuff affect your business. Keep them separated. Your team doesn't need to know about all of this personal stuff that you're going through. You have to be the solidarity of your team because they are looking to you for guidance. They're looking to you to be the calm amongst all the crazy. You're the leader. They're looking to you for leadership. Leaders are the calm, solid voice of their organization. Be the Alka-Seltzer. Be consistent, solid, and the calm voice. So here's my example for that. Back in October when we had the back office change, people lost their marbles. They were going so nuts because things were not easy with that back office change. If you were part of a team where your leader was constantly griping and complaining and whining and just completely losing it over the things that were happening with the back office, don't you think that would make you nervous and not sure if this was the right company because of all these things, because your leader was not trusting in the company? As a leader, you have to be the calm. So during that back office thing, you just have to step back and wait, because the leaders in our company, Tarl, Alec, Marianne, they are not going to do anything that's going to hurt us. If something's not right, they're going to fix it. And if you're new to this company, Just go ahead and take note of that now. You'll see it. Their actions show that. But take my word for it. I've been doing it for almost 3 years, and they have never steered us in the wrong direction before. Back office was rough, but you know what? They fixed it. They got the people in there that knew how to get the kinks worked out. They got the people in there to fix the shipping issues. And now we have lots to look forward to going forward with all of the new things that they're going to implement. So a personal inner peace of the leader leads to team performance. So, you know, don't get all jumbled up in the nonsense. Keep pushing forward and be the calm for your team. Don't be wishy-washy. You have to have an unshakable belief in the products, the company, and the leadership. Be rock solid. Good leaders are like lighthouses. So let's think about a lighthouse. The lighthouse, a lot of pictures you see of the lighthouse is with these birds flying and the pretty sunset in the background, nice weather, water's calm, yada, yada, yada. But you know what a lighthouse is really there for? The lighthouse is there to lead the boats safely to land in the fog, in the stormy weather, in the poor conditions. They are rock solid, standing on the rock, leading people where they need to go. So when you become the lighthouse of your organization, that's when you're a leader. During the tough times is when leaders make things happen. We all make mistakes. None of us are perfect. But don't beat yourself up when you do something dumb. We all do dumb stuff. Be honest with yourself. Don't place the blame somewhere else. If you're the one to blame, then take ownership of that, but then go get better. Go fix what needs to be fixed. Go change your process and get better. Leadership is critical. The leader is the beacon, the rock, and the force of nature. And then I wrote down some quotes. I shared them on my team page earlier today, but I wanted to share them with you in case you wanted to write them down also. Let's see. He said, life is too dang short for small thinking and small dreams. How cool is that? It's so true. Like, why not think about big dreams and do the things you want to do? Why not? People have told us for way too long that, oh, well, that can't be done. But you know what? It sure can be. And why can't you be the one to go do it? I think that's a great quote. Life is too dang short for small thinking and small dreams. And this is not his quote. He quoted somebody, and I didn't catch the name, but the quote is, an army of sheep led by a lion is more feared than an army of lions led by a sheep. Decide today whether or not you're ready to be a lion. And then the very last thing he said right before he walked off the stage was, today I will do what others don't, so tomorrow I'll have what others won't. So, he was very, very inspirational. I cannot wait to read his book. And, the whole theme of convention for me this year, what really stood out to me was that your attitude makes a difference. You have to wake up every day with the attitude of positivity, that you're not going to let the negative things get to you, that you're not going to let discouragement keep you down, that you're going to keep trucking, you're going to keep pushing, and you're going to get the goals that you've set out for yourself. So I hope that this little recap was helpful for you. And I'm really looking forward to implementing some of these things I know on my team page. So that's all I had for you. I hope you enjoyed it. I will also link one of the iPhone videos of John Addison's speech. I'll link that. I'll post that in the comments as well. So if you want to listen to it from him, you can do that. Hope you all have a good day. Bye.